Okay. Party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one chief rocket in Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. You are watching Old School Knicks. And we plan to chop it up today about some Patrick Ewing getting canned at Georgetown. I'm sure we're going to mix in some why the Jets suck. We're going to talk about briefly maybe Julius Randle's attitude, some. But first, let me introduce the creator and producer, the architect of this thing that we call Old School Knicks, the man that is our encyclopedia of Knicks history, the grand historian, the man that is so smooth, he does not require a chaser, Anthony D. What's good, boss?
Good morning, Uncle Freezy. Look, man, the people need me on camera with you. They don't need all of that. They know who it is. They know
We
who I am.
We don't need another hero.
We don't need another hero. We don't need another hero. That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Good morning, Nick Nation. Thank you again for joining myself and the great Uncle Freezy in Still Uneasy. That's right. That's right. We're doing all right this morning. God is good.
Bro, I can't believe Patrick Ewing got fired from his alma mater. There is no Hoya paranoia without the Hoya destroyer. I don't. No comprende.
We can look at it two ways. First, when you're hired, that means at some point you will be fired.
At some point.
At some point you will be fired.
Yep.
And second, how bad a job did he do to lead to his firing?
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Now, I would have to take your word on this and Knicks Nation, because to be honest with you, since his first year, when I know he led them to the Big East tournament, and it was such a feel-good moment that the prodigal son had returned to the Hill, because that's what they call Georgetown.
Yes.
The Hill.
Yes.
And that he was the first born, the first everything. They built that program, that athletic program, on his back. And to hear he got fired, I've seen Mullen got fired from St. John's, and this one, to see the legends who go back to their alma maters, I want to say they go back because
Who is St. John's again?
Who's their coach right now?
No, who is St. John's, period?
They are a cornerstone of the Big East, or what was the Big East.
So they're like Georgetown.
Now, well, all the Big East teams are like Georgetown. Syracuse is in the ACC.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the Big East anymore. Not to the what we knew it. What Dave Gavitt built.
Right.
A man who I thought should have been head of the Knicks at one point.
Should have been.
Yeah. At one point, I was like, look, this is who you need to get. He's the wonder kid right now. Everything touching is turning to gold.
He was a media savant.
Yeah.
A media savant.
Yeah, he had like, ESPN was a very minute entity.
Fledgling. Right?
Yep. He used to be able to catch Rucker games.
Yes.
On ESPN.
Yes.
Midget wrestling.
Yes.
You know,
minor league lacrosse was on
minor
ESPN.
league lacrosse, whatever ESPN thought they could put on to get some ratings, some viewership.
Right.
At that time, they did.
Right.
You know, they've since distanced themselves from their humble beginnings.
Right.
You know, but he helped to put them on the map, and he just with the schools, and he was able to, you know, to gauge the temperament from the different schools and things of that nature, and able to get a cohesive situation there for however long that they were able to do it, because they were the Big East at one point. I think it was the first team that they might have been the only team that would do it. 3 teams in the Final Four.
Yeah. And since the ACC did it, but the Big East did it once. First, I think.
The Big East did it first.
Yep, with Villanova, St. John's, and Georgetown.
Yep. All right, and having 2 Big East teams play for it all.
Yep.
You know, it should have been Georgetown and St. John's, but that's how the brackets fall.
Who's St. John's, though? I mean,
Chris Mullin, player of the year that year. Walter Berry, player of the year the following year. You know, Wennington, Shelton Jones, Willie Glass, Moses, Mark Jackson. Don't let me go on.
Malik Sealy.
Sealy wasn't there yet. I'm talking about that team. Don't let
no,
me
not
go
that team.
on.
I'm just talking about
overall. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That team. Yeah, that team. 85. Yeah.
That 85 team was special. They were the first team to beat that Georgetown team that year.
Yeah.
You know, when they beat them in the Garden, I think it was 65-60 or 65-63. It was some really tough game.
Yeah.
But those Big East games back then, Georgetown against Syracuse.
Right.
Georgetown against Nova.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking about UConn. UConn wasn't even a speck.
UConn wasn't even it was Providence. Providence was in their spot.
It was Providence.
Providence College.
Yeah.
With Rick Pitino and what's the guy that's a coach now? Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan.
Billy Donovan, right?
Yep.
Donovan, you know, Rick Pitino. Not to say that Billy Donovan didn't have the skills, because obviously he did. He got offered a 4-year scholarship.
Yeah.
But Rick Pitino put a battery in his back that he just took off. Billy Donovan was a very good college player.
Very good.
You know, so that, you know, shout out to that whole
kind of in the likes of Jeff Lebo at North Carolina. I remember those two being really good. Jeff Lebo, Eric Strickland, Tommy Amica, and Johnny Dawkins, all at Duke. King Rice during that era.
Yeah.
Mookie Blaylock during that era. You know, a bunch of great Reggie. You remember Reggie Jackson?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson went on with Georgetown. The Knicks drafted him.
Right. And
that's when you used to have 4. That's when you used to have 4 rounds.
Yep.
That's it. You used to have 4 rounds. You know, the Knicks actually drafted him. He didn't make it out of training camp, I think.
I don't think he played in the NBA.
Yeah, he didn't make it out of training camp. And this was a dude that was a starting point guard on Georgetown.
Yeah.
On a championship team. That Georgetown, you know, just to kind of stay with Ewing here for a second. And, you know, Pat, I know it hurt. But like we said in the beginning, when you're hired to one day be fired. It's very rare that a guy retires from the job as a coach.
Yeah, you walk in and you hope one day you can walk out. Right? That's basically how things go.
They fired Tom Landry.
Yep.
In the worst way.
Bad.
Tom Landry, who was everything.
Jerry Jones wanted to fire him year 1. Jerry Jones wanted to get rid of him. Jerry
didn't care about no damn Tom Landry. I mean,
he didn't care about no Cowboys.
He cared about the Cowboys. He didn't care about the Cowboys.
Not them Cowboys. He cared about his Cowboys.
Yeah, he cared about his Cowboys.
Which, to be honest with you, I think it's the best version. Jerry's Cowboys is better than Tex Schramm them Cowboys?
Well, I'm gonna say no to that because
you're bugging.
Jerry's Cowboys. Jerry's owned the team since what, 1988, 89?
Yep.
89. So we're going on what,
88.
35 years?
Yep.
Right? Something like that. Jerry's Cowboys really were good out of the 35 years. 7.
Right.
7. It was a lot of 8 and 8s. A lot of sub, and I'm a fan of the star. The star is as important as the pinstripes, or nearly as important as the pinstripes. But keep it a buck, Tex Schramm and them boys, you know what I mean? They monikered the America's team.
Yeah.
From the 70s right on to today, it's still America's team.
Right. Everything Jerry Jones did with the Cowboys is better than the previous Cowboys. Period.
Jerry, business-wise, took it another level.
Which quarterback is better, Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman?
Stop it! It's Roger Staubach.
Get out of here.
The comeback kid.
Get out of here.
The comeback kid.
Which wide receiver is better, Drew Pearson or Michael Irvin? Which running back is better, Tony Dorsett or Emmitt Smith?
Emmitt. But
I'm telling you, everything about the Drew Cowboys.
Look, you better stop it. Look up Drew Pearson.
I know who he is.
I know you know who he is. I'm talking about some of the fans who may not know who he is.
Okay.
Right? You look up the original 88.
Original 88.
The original 88.
Not Des Bryant.
When the game...
Not C.D. Lamb.
When the game was on the line, right? When the money was on the table.
3rd and 12 in the snow in a playoff game?
4th and 30.
In the
Whatever
snow.
you wanted. Whatever
in a playoff game, yes.
We hit one against, I think, is it Minnesota?
Yes.
With like 17 seconds to go or some crazy. No.
Drew Pearson was the truth, bro.
Give me Tony Hill and them boys. Give me Drew Pearson.
Tony Hill, Butch Johnson, Ron Springs, Tony Dorsett.
In truth, I started out as a Cowboy fan.
No.
I did.
No.
How I got to the, that's another story, but it's relevant. But it was the Cowboys. The Cowboys had the cheerleaders.
Yeah. They had Don Meredith. Don Meredith is what actually made Don Meredith, bro. Don Meredith was making country albums. He was on ABC. After the season, he was chilling. He was everywhere. He was a celebrity. He is what took that the Cowboys with the white helmet with the blue star on it to being somebody, that silver helmet.
No,
with the star.
I beg to differ. It's the Cowboy, the original Cowboy. It's Landry. No. Let's understand something here. Landry believed that everybody was interchangeable. It was his system.
Right.
Landry coached offense and defense.
Right.
Okay? Imagine a coaching staff.
I thought Bob Hurley was Mr. Cowboy, but okay.
No. Imagine a coaching staff that has Lombardi and Landry on the same New York Giants coaching staff.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where he comes from.
With Ali Sherman.
With Ali Sherman, right? That's where he comes from. It's Landry who brings in the shotgun.
And yep.
Landry was just the way how he saw the game.
Landry brought in 3 wide receivers. I know.
Landry brought in. Landry did
Landry
a lot
brought
of
in the
things.
4-3 defense. I know. I know what you read.
The doomsday defense.
The 4-3 that the Pittsburgh Steelers got beat so bad in it, they took it and turned it into
the steel curtain.
The steel curtain, basically.
Yeah. But they didn't. Dallas didn't win those games, in the big dance against Pittsburgh,
No.
but
no,
they won enough, and they capitalized on them damn cowboy hats.
Right.
Because who the hell was wearing cowboy hats outside of Texas?
Nobody?
Maybe Arkansas? Maybe some people played in Arkansas and some of the other. Who the hell is wearing cowboy hats and cowboy boots?
And not
cowboy boots and Jordache jeans.
Wranglers.
My brother-in-law used to wear the tightest pair of Jordache jeans you ever seen.
Like, bro, you making me feel uncomfortable over here. This is not flattering, bro.
But that was the style. Everything was predicated on that look. With a members only jacket with a little tag that swang. That's not even swing. That swang.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Cowboys. And Jerry, I've always respected his business sense and so forth. But Jerry always, to me, one of these days or one of these years, Jerry needs to do what his heart really tells him to do. And it's probably past this, which is to go down there and coach the fucking team himself.
Basically.
And that's what he's always wanted to do.
That's what he always wanted to do.
My respect for him would go that much further if he did a Ted Turner and go down there and go coach the game.
Bim.
You own the team.
Yeah.
Who can tell you can't do that?
Right. Well, you know what? I'm going to say, I'll say this real quick about the Cowboys before my mouth fills with vomit. Just talk about the Cowboys, just make me...
This from a Bears fan.
Yeah. We have, but the Bears have a legacy.
A legacy of losing.
Yeah, the Bears have a legacy.
The Bears. Legacy of czars.
Yes.
Outside of 86.
Yeah.
Right? Outside of 86. Or 85, excuse me. Outside of 85. Okay?
Okay.
Ain't much to talk about.
Say what you will about the Bears. We got, But let me get back to this point, though, about Pat Ewing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time to bring Pat into the Knicks organization?
It's been time.
Is it time? Like, Pat Ewing is 60 years old now. He'll be 61 this year. Is it time to heal all the wounds? Is it time to set aside all the differences and bring in a guy with the ego and that is so heliocentric that it's going to take shine away from others in the organization?
No.
And the reason why I phrase it like that is because it would be akin to Michael Jordan selling the Hornets and buying the Chicago Bulls. You know what I'm saying? Is it time for Charles Barkley to not be NBA and be Philadelphia 76ers?
Well, don't make me throw up in my mouth.
I'm just saying.
Mentioning Charles Barkley of these damn airways. Okay?
Yeah,
And in this context, I could care less if he ever smells the Philly cheesesteak from wherever he's at ever again in life.
Ever, right.
That means nothing to me. Okay? Charles, we still put the broom on you in the spectrum. Never forget that.
What year was that? 91?
No, that's 80.
90?
That's 88. 87, okay. 88. That's Mark Jackson's rookie year. We put the broom on him. But to your question, is it time to bring Pat home? Of course. Dolan right now could just give him a senior level advisor's position.
Right.
Okay? Pat, you work with the big man in the summer.
Right.
Done deal.
I think that the reason why Pat Ewing got fired at Georgetown is because he didn't recruit well. Right? That's his Achilles heel.
Well, recruiting has changed now,
I know,
Freezy.
but hear me,
With this, what
but
is
hear
it?
me
The
out. Hear me out on it.
NIL, the NBL.
I know. But what I'm saying to you is when Pat Ewing was basically coaching John Thompson's the third's players.
Okay.
He was a great in-game basketball mind and all of that, right? What happened is when Pat started getting his own guys in, they were awful. And when I mean awful, they have not won a game in the Big East Conference in 2 years, in 2 calendar years.
Well, that's awful.
That's awful.
That's
right?
awful.
That means when he gets his hands on young people, something happens, or his own people, that something happens.
Whoa. You can only mold and shape what you have.
What you recruit, right?
What you recruit, or what you're able to get. And like I said, recruiting is not what it was 10 years ago anymore, because now with this new, and I was just having this conversation the other day with someone who's really into, sports management and the whole NIL and all that, and he was giving me a real education on it, and as to how it benefits and how you could use it as a weapon,
right,
to pluck, from other teams, and this whole, what the players should have been getting in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? This should have been, this system, and however
since the 70s.
It should have been there since the beginning of time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is now. And it's not just, from my understanding, it's not just your coach's recruiting ability, because who doesn't know Patrick Ewing? Right. Who over the last 25 years been living for the last 30 years, 35 years, or whatever, doesn't know who Patrick Ewing is?
A lot of these kids, bro.
Right? Yeah, but his name is still, it's not like I said Bill Walton. See what I'm saying? His name is not that far removed from playing.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? That's that, you know what I mean? And plus, you see them on TVs, whatever. My thing is, you need more than just his presence to pull, because now it's really basketball. It's really money related now. Right. Like who's the chief operating officers there, and what are they willing to spend, and how are they getting this money, and you see what I'm saying? It's not just. So at the end of the day, maybe the players he was able to get them just on the strength of he's Pat. Okay. But the big tier players, whatever, like what Deion Sanders was doing, how he was manipulating, the system with the money and all of that. They were going to him not just because he's Deion, but because, he's able to, he understands the system and how the money that needs to be spent now. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying it may not be just Pat's fault where that is concerned, because in today's game, in today's college game, more than ever before, you have to be willing to spend money. Right.
I don't know, man. Georgetown is not strapped for cash.
Like I said, willing.
Yeah. I think it's my personal opinion of watching it is, by watching recruiting boards and all that stuff, Pat Ewing cannot connect with young players. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick Ewing and a 17-year, like for instance, I think you're watching it play out with Mike Woodson at Indiana right now.
In regards to
not being able to get the best young players in the country to come play at Indiana. And it's a shame, because we're talking about the University of Indiana. We're not talking about Weber State.
Again.
We talking about Indiana.
Again, but we need to look at who are getting the top tier talent.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And how are they doing it? Are they doing it? Well, how are they connecting? They're connecting through the dollars.
No, they're connecting with young coaches.
And how are you getting these young coaches? You think you just walk in? You think you're just gonna walk in there and tell them how nice a game he just coached and how nice his wife looks on the sideline? There's some bread got to be run.
Right.
You got to run some bread.
Yeah, probably.
No, probably Freezy.
But what I'm saying,
you got to run some bread.
Probably, but what I'm saying to you is this: even the older coaches in college basketball are struggling. You see, Coach K basically, in theory, got pushed out the door. In theory,
it's a young man's game.
Yeah. And Pat Ewing is 60, right? Woodson is 65.
Yeah.
Right? You watching these dudes, these guys that are, teams are what college teams are doing basically now is taking these young coaches, generally probably about a generation, probably about just a generation older than the kids. So if the kids are 17, the coach is probably like 35, 36. Getting them guys to talk, they talk the way that they like to have that talk to them.
Okay.
Right. And basically what it is these kids are not going to, okay, I'll give you an example. How many when's the last time a big time recruit went to St. John's? 20 years.
No.
Easy.
No.
It's been 20 years, man.
I haven't been following them day to day, but no.
St. John's ain't had a Kobe, a LeBron. St. John's ain't had a cat like that since.
And a couple of names are skipping me right now, but they've had a couple of decent.
They might have had somebody on the radar, but they ain't have. When's the last time St. John's had the number one pick?
In the draft, they've never had the overall number one pick in the draft.
Touche. That was unfair. That was
really unfair. I'm like, what? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with this St. John's badgering here today?
Well, the thing is, I just want that to
again won an NIT championship.
You know who coaches North Carolina right now? Hubert Davis.
Right.
That's the point. That's the point that I'm getting at. Right? Cats like that, and Hubert Davis even is a older coach. Like what I'm getting at is if we bring Pat Ewing into the Knicks organization,
you're using ageism.
No,
you're using ageism as to why these guys are not succeeding. No, why Pat didn't succeed. That's what it sounds like.
Nope, I'm using connectivity.
That's what I'm using. So because he's old, he can't connect. Yeah, what did he need to do? What he needs to mollywop and listen to Pop Smoke.
Yes. Basically.
Yo, no disrespect. Yo, the first time I really listened to some of the records, I was like, hold on. Are you really able to connect and understand what these guys are saying?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave it at
yes, because yeah. And basically, but the point that I'm getting at though, AD, is this.
Shout out to Melly Mel.
Yeah, and who is getting? I don't know why people don't like, but anyway. Yeah, Melly Mel is just a straight shooter. But what I'm getting at though is this. Ultimately, what I'm getting at is this. If we bring Pat Ewing in, who has an inability to connect to young players, why would we bring him into our organization to connect with young? And what I would like to see him do
ageism
is evolve.
Ageism.
I would like to see him evolve.
You hating on Pat because Pat's 60 years old.
No. What I'm saying is,
you see 60 in the near future, and you scared. You think somebody gonna usher you out at 60? The way how they ushered Pat out at 60. It's ages and crazy. And I'm here to stand up. I'm here to stand. No, hold on a second. I'm here to stand up for all the Cougars. I'm here to stand up for all of the elderly people who are still doing it right now. Okay? As George Foreman once said, don't let age be a sentence.
I thought George Foreman said, buy one George Foreman grill, get another one free.
He said that too.
Free shipping.
He said that too. Yeah, so I'm disgusted by you right now. This age.
Please tell me you see that the George Foreman movie is finally coming out.
I didn't see that. He got a movie coming out?
Yes, I saw the trailer for the George Foreman movie.
Really? Okay.
Really?
Long overdue, because he got an interesting story.
Yeah.
He got a hell of a story. He may need 3 hours legit to get that across. He has a hell of a story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the thing I'm getting at with Pat is not just bring him in because Pat is, bro, of all the dudes with their numbers retired, he still has a mega voice, right? Of all the dudes with their numbers retired, Clyde has a voice, but don't nobody listen, right? But Pat Ewing in the building, things will be different. And the point that I was trying to get to is, if we bring Pat in the building, I think our voices, I think our future changes. I think Pat Ewing in the building.
Can't give Pat a job.
What?
You just can't give Pat a role.
But AD, that's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to get to that point.
But why? But why his role gotta be more? Why he can't get a role like Allen Houston? You know what I'm saying? Why you just can't, be the ambassador of the Knicks and go around while he's still young and vibrant? And what does that have to do with the on-court calamities of Julius Randle?
So that was the thing that I'm trying to get to. I don't want Pat around young players because he can't connect with young players on that level no more.
Hold on. Pat can't teach Julius something? Pat can't teach Julius not to turn his goddamn back in the post consecutively when the double team is coming consistently? Pat can't teach Julius something? Is that what you're going to tell Knicks fans out here today? Pat can't. Hold on. Did you watch Mitchell Robinson against Sabonis spit the bit? This is a man you just gave $60 million to. I'm watching him on the sideline in the critical parts of the game, laughing it up, yucking it up. I said, you know what? You should be yucking up because you know what? Sabonis kicked your ass.
Right.
Right? And you're going to tell me that Pat can't teach him something?
Right.
Pat can't teach Hart something?
Okay.
What's Pat supposed to do? Go pick up the mail?
So you want him on the coaching staff?
I want him anywhere he wants to be. But this idea that we can't just give Pat a nice senior executive level job and have him go out and meet with the foundation members and the committee people and tell jokes and reminisce. It doesn't have to be more than that. Take care of your own.
Right. I never said that.
I know you didn't, but I'm expanding upon that. Do what you did you made up with Sprewell and this one and that one and Camby and this one and that one and so forth. Ain't none of them Pat.
Right. That's exactly what that's exactly what I was getting to. I said that earlier.
But this, yes, you did. But this thing where Pat can't connect with the young and Pat can't teach don't let me pull my hair out on here. You know what I'm saying? That's Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
All his whole life is a big game.
Right.
His entire basketball career is a big game. He can't tell young players, look, don't go to the Gold Club.
AD, you going too far, right? Because here's the reason why. You go sit in somebody's living room and say, hey, I'm offering you a 4-year scholarship to the distinguished Georgetown University. When you come here and play basketball, when you leave, you put a plaque on your wall that says you're a graduate of Georgetown University, only to play basketball. And Pat Ewing can't give that away.
But we gonna go around and around. He can't give it away because you don't give it away, Freezy.
Pat Ewing,
you have to sell it,
bro.
With hard bucks.
Yo, what I'm telling you is
this the part
these
that you don't want to believe. Payola is real. This NIL thing is real.
These dudes are saying, yeah, right. But what about the kids that don't have the opportunity? Pat Ewing can't get them either. Because it's only a select few that's going to make bread on those the NIL stuff. Only certain people can build a brand big enough before they get to school, right? It's going to be other kids out here that's going to be the second or third best player on the team, and Pat Ewing can't even get them.
Yeah, but Freezy, okay. Him doing a bad job these last 2 years at Georgetown is different than saying that Pat can't come in this organization and pull a young big man aside and give him some pointers. I refuse to believe that.
Okay.
I refuse to believe he can't be a positive.
Who's a better communicator, Pat Ewing or Clyde Frazier? I would off the rip say Clyde Frazier, because his job is communicating on a nightly, on a game-to-game basis, and dudes in the Knicks organization and Clyde's number is in the Raptors too. Clyde actually won a championship.
Freezing.
And they don't even go to Clyde Frazier when they ask Clyde. They like, Clyde, so what do you tell the young players on the
Freezing?
Clyde, like they don't talk to me.
Freezing. Who taught Yao Ming and Dwight Howard? Who were the first professional big man coaches in the NBA?
Please don't do this because I'm gonna say who taught Byron Mullins and Bismack Biyombo?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're gonna have some weeds in the garden.
Right, and you're gonna have some flowers in the garden.
Okay. Right. And those roses. And he was on the job.
He made Byron Mullins a bust.
He didn't. Byron Mullins' parents made him a bust. Get out of here.
Bismack Biyombo. I'm so.
Bismack Biyombo. Do you remember what Bismack? Hold on, Pat. If you remember, Bismack Biyombo came on the scene somewhere around 2016, right? Bismack Biyombo in the USA trials and those international games was dominating the world.
He could be Elijah Wan. I remember.
Yes, our bigs included. Right. The USA bigs included. It wasn't Pat's fault that Bismack Biyombo didn't, who Bismack Biyombo got a $75 million second contract. That's Pat's fault? Yeah, it was Pat's fault. Pat got him paid. Okay.
What I'm saying to you is ultimately,
I don't like this disrespect with you and Pat here today.
I'm not disrespecting Pat. I want Pat to be in the right place. I want to put Pat in the right place. Pat, no, I don't want you on the court, Pat. Nope. Maybe in certain specialized things, right? But I don't want you.
Madness.
I don't want you. I don't want to see you dressed up like Tibbs. You above that. When you come here, you're a special assistant to Leon Rose. You are not in no situation where you can go back and forth and you working with Tibbs, with Mitchell. No.
Why? Because he has nothing to offer Mitchell Robinson, who has zero offensive game.
How did that work for Allen Houston?
What?
Allen Houston was a good player. Allen Houston was a pretty good shooter. How come the Knicks can't shoot?
Freezy, Allen Houston's role, we've already laid this out already. Allen Houston's role is what it is. He's a nice guy. The owner likes him. He does well at the roles that however they grade him at. And that's where he's happy at being a part of the overall presentation of it.
Because he's older now. Allen Houston is not a spring chicken no more.
It's not his fault the Knicks didn't call him in to be special shooting assistant.
Right. What I'm saying is young players don't connect. That can't be Pat Ewing's calling card to get here. Pat's calling card has to be former Knick assistant to Leon Rose and stay there. Assistant, not even special assistant to Leon Rose, special assistant to whoever the team president is, and he got to have that role for life.
Fine, but this is the way how you talk is you're sitting baby in the back.
No,
it's Pat Ewing.
No,
this is Pat
but
Ewing.
No, what you fail to realize is New Yorkers don't take it that way.
But you're acting like he doesn't have any skills, any technical skills to offer, any in-game strategy to offer. If that was the case,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for veterans that want to get better, like a Mitchell Robinson, who want to develop a jump hook during the summertime. Pat is your man. Pat should have been your man regardless if he was at Georgetown or not. Right? What I'm saying is if you tell New Yorkers that Pat is coming here to help young players get better, New Yorkers ain't gonna want to hear nothing else. They're well, how come the young player ain't better? Well, what Pat doing? It's all Pat fault. That's how we do.
It come with the territory, Freezy.
I understand that. I understand it. So why
you're gonna get fired?
Why even introduce it when we could just have him be the special assistant to the team president?
Fine. I'm fine with that. My overall plan is just bring him home. Just bring him home.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, just bring him home. But
I don't have a problem with that. What I'm saying is Pat Ewing, his last 2 years at Georgetown, could not recruit. He could not connect with the young players of today. Like these kids are choosing the G League over Georgetown.
Because the G League is straight cash.
Well, you can go to Georgetown and still get NIL. Remember you brought up NIL?
Yeah.
Remember you brought up NIL, right?
But the G League is a bigger cash. The G League, you don't need to develop your brand and all of that.
Right.
You don't need to do that. The G League, you could just straight be Freezy. You remember a movie called The Program?
Yeah.
Right? There's a cat in the movie who was like the Lawrence Taylor of the he was the dominant linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't read
nothing. Right.
Man
they had the pretty girl trying to tutor him. Remember?
Yes, the man picked up his shoe and said, "See that?" Says Converse, right? And dude was like, "I taught him that." He said, "Boy, all you got to know what to do is how to sign your name on an NFL contract."
Right.
When it came to the end game, the coach asking him the plays and the strategy, whatever, he knew everything.
Right.
The tight end comes right here, kill him. Quarterback goes right here, kill him. Kill him. His skill sets wasn't in reading and writing. No one cared about developing that.
Right.
See what I'm saying? All anybody cared about is that he was a great football player, and on the field, this is what he knew how to do.
Okay.
So that communication you telling me about with Pat and whatever, he may not be as good as Wall. He's not swishing and dishing and whatever. Okay. And I'm talking about in that paint. I'm talking about things that you need how to body up against a dude like Sabonis when he's serving you your lunch.
Right. Yeah.
This is where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
And if it don't work out, it don't work out. If it don't work out, it don't work out. No, I got your point.
No, you don't.
I got your point. But if it don't work out, it don't work out. But I want the best. I want some of the best to work with a Mitch Robinson, and you get no better than Patrick Ewing.
Right. Okay. All right. So the thing I'm saying about Georgetown, and the thing I'm saying about young people is if you can't communicate with young people, they gonna miss your message. It don't matter how much you know if they don't understand what you're saying. It don't matter. It don't matter how much stuff you know. It don't matter how much stuff you got upstairs, bro. Don't matter how much. And I'm not talking about intellect. I'm talking about experience. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. If you can't teach this thing to young people, it's a waste, right? And how I know this is a waste because Pat Ewing coached at Georgetown for 6 seasons, right? And with all that knowledge that you said Pat Ewing had, name one big man that was drafted into the NBA
I
from
can't.
Georgetown
I
under
can't.
Pat Ewing.
Because none of them were good enough.
No, they had Pat Ewing. Remember, you just
None
said
of
Pat
them were
Ewing
good
was.
enough. But
Nah, you just said Pat Ewing could
we've
teach these.
already beat out the point as far as what you can do with Clay. See what I'm saying? You have to have a certain kind of talent to be able to bring that out, Freezy.
AD, what I'm saying
The
to
man
you,
ain't
bro.
God. He Pat Ewing.
I know this, and this is the reason why I'm saying that he should be the special assistant to the team president and nothing else. Don't force
Freezy, you
nothing
come
on him.
on here every day, Freezy, right? You on here for as long as I've known you, going on however long now. Seems like I've known you forever. Name me a day you have been afraid of ridicule from these trolls out here.
Right.
Name me a day that when you decided to launch Blanche Tears in
Right.
a sea of other podcasts that you decide that you were like, I can't do it. This ain't gonna work. Da 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 da. You see what I'm saying? If Pat was to be in a role here where he would have some kind of input, I doubt it would be that big, right? But if it would be something that we would know about, that Pat's working with Mitch and something like that, I'd be very happy. I'd be very proud. Because again, I believe that there's something else in this kid's game that needs to be unlocked. So are we saying that because he is young, he can't hear him because he is old? Are we saying that the youth do not have the mental capacity to take on instruction? Is that what we're saying here today? Or are we just calling Mitch Robinson dumb?
No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying that everybody that has knowledge is not a teacher. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, sir. Before
That,
I lose
that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking I think Pat in a more of a see, because I don't want Pat to be in that Herb Williams role. Remember Herb Williams was in the role around the organization. You didn't know what he
Herb
was.
was gainfully employed for 25 years.
Yeah, right. But during that 25 years, name one dominant big man that we groomed.
Herb did not have, I can't believe you asked me that freaking question, Freeze.
What big man did Herb Williams make better?
In that time span, like you can, who's gonna work with Eddie Curry and make Eddie Curry better? Who's gonna work with Dinner Bell Jerome James and make Jerome James better?
Right.
Who's gonna work with Sweetney, a man that got fatter by the second?
John Thomas. Don't forget John Thomas.
Who's gonna work with John Thomas and make that's Herb Williams' fault? Doliak. Yeah. Who's gonna make Doliak better?
Right. But that's my point, AD. So if you expect a bare minimum from one guy, you bring in Pat, and you can't expect the world from Pat, bro. What I'm saying is bring Pat and just have him be a part of. Yeah. If I'm Dolan, the first thing I'm doing to Pat Ewing is apologizing for the trade. Pat, listen, I'm sorry about how this thing ended. We should have been men enough to come to some type of means where you retire as a Knick. That's the first thing I'm doing is apologizing, face to face, and not on TV either. I'm pulling Pat in a conference room, like, Pat, I got something to tell you, man to man. Right? That's what I'm doing. Right? And I know some people don't believe in mending fences. Some people are like, once something is fractured, you don't go back to it. Okay. I don't believe in that respect. Right? Now, the second thing about it is this: like, Pat, listen, we don't have a role in place for you here, but we want to bring you on as an employee, right? And then have you just help us out. Now listen, the checks are going to be on time and we're going to pay you good, but we just don't know what role we need you at. Can you be what AD said you could be? Like the basically a brand ambassador, a special assistant to the team president, something like that. So if we need you, if Mitch is looking for somebody to help him offensively, he can just either go upstairs or call you to come to the to the practice facility, right? The thing is, I think both of us want Pat Ewing in the building. What I want, Pat, though, is I don't want everybody to have an unreasonable expectation of what Pat Ewing can do for the Knicks as soon as he get here. Does that mean we win the championship, bro? You know, AD, you know how bro, you know.
You trying to protect Pat. You trying to protect Pat from the delirious amongst us. You know, you
But by saying that, you admit there are delirious amongst us.
We hear him every day.
Right, I know. That's what I'm saying.
We hear him every day. You know,
yeah.
I heard, a couple of weeks ago, in the middle of Brunson having historic numbers in a Knicks uniform.
Right.
He's shooting too much. He this, he that. Ball hog.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to call any of y'all out names, but I remember some of y'all names.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you miss him now?
So I love Pat Ewing, bro.
You want to continue seeing, hold on a second. You want to continue seeing Sir Julius? And I want people to know last night I text Freezy after the game. Or, was it after the game or was it during the game?
I didn't see it after the game.
So you saw it during the game?
I think I'm not for sure. What I'm saying is I didn't see it directly. I didn't see it directly after the game. Right. I didn't see it directly after the game. So I came across it like.
And of course, I was getting at Randle.
Of course.
Freezy goes, after one game?
Right. After one game, bro.
One game.
Right.
One game. Is it one game, Freezy?
Right.
Is it one game that you've seen the lack of basketball IQ in moments where it's called for it? When you got a man down, an important man down, and this is still your team, and your team, they need you. When the coach is, Julius, come on, baby. Stay with us, Julius. Head coach, up on him. Can't stop him.
Right.
Second assistant, up on him. Can't stop him. Players all over him.
Right.
Can't stop him. And anybody that you wanted to name in the Knicks organization outside of Leon Rose, and I don't know if he was on the trip, to come out there to walk on the court to help get his focus back, tried last night, Freezy.
Okay.
And we've seen this in moments where when you're talking about overall team building and really planting your flag that we are here and we can win a championship, okay? That's not that guy. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, okay? In those kind of moments when you're needed, like the dude literally gave Plummer a 2-hand full chest push in the winning moments of the game.
Okay.
Why? Because he's not getting calls and so forth. Okay? We play on, killer. We play on. You don't easily get out of your game. And they did that to him purposely because they were playing him physical.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you 6'9", 250. You got about this physicality? What do you think is going to happen in the playoffs? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to get kicked out of every game that you're not getting a call because you're shooting 3 for 17.
Right. Okay.
See?
All right.
These are the things when I bring these out with Julius Randle fans and so forth, and I'm not knocking him overall. He's having a very good regular season. It's the forecast for what you think that you could become, and do you really think you could become it with him as a part of the puzzle?
So, AD, so you're saying last night Julius Randle reverted back to last year's Randle. That's what he did?
No handle Randle is what
That's
I
what he
believe.
did? He
I
reverted back to
believe his
last year
nickname
Randle?
is. No handle Randle.
That's what, okay.
And if you want to keep it a buck, that shot against Miami, he lost the dribble there too. And if you want to keep it a buck, we can go into a few of these games here where he's doing too much, where the play is not asking to do too much.
Right.
He's just asking just to read it. See what I'm saying? Every time you turn your back, every time you do this, just to get back to the left hand, right? Every time you dribble with that right hand, just to get back to the left hand, you're totally blinded.
Right.
And the scouting report is bearing this out. What do you think they're going to do in the playoffs? I pray God they leave Brunson out another week. Let Brunson heal up.
Okay. Sure. Bully, thank you for the generous contribution. Bully says, terrible game yesterday. Yep. Appreciate you, Bully.
Absolutely. So you can sit there with the faith of Jonah for Julius Randle.
Okay. I don't understand what you're saying though.
It ain't gonna happen. He's not good enough. He's not good enough to be a piece that can win you a championship. Did you understand that?
Hold on, my pinball just started. I said bully, and then he just went.
He thought you were talking about him?
Yeah. The Julius Randle stuff, whatever. I don't care. The Julius Randle stuff don't move the needle for me one way or the other.
Then what moves
because
the
needle? I'm not gonna live and die with one game or a few games. Because Julius Randle reverting back to last year's Randle, that don't bother me because I already know what the factors were. The factors were Julius Randle looked like last year's Randle because the Knicks looked like last year's Knicks. The two go together. No Brunson on the floor. Teams are double team Randle when he ain't looking. Knicks fans gonna complain, oh my God, Randle was the worst. We ain't never had a player this bad. Right? That's what Knicks fans are gonna say, AD included. You're gonna have AD is gonna have a meltdown because Randle had a meltdown.
I'm consistent.
And what I'm gonna say to it is
you're damn right.
Last night's Knicks looked like last year's Knicks because we didn't have a point guard on the floor.
When the best player on the floor melts down, that gives everybody the right to melt down because the best player on the floor melted down, or the best player on your team, because the best player on the floor was Kawhi Leonard.
Right. Okay.
Champion Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what Julius aspires to be.
Okay.
Cool in those moments. I only seen that man rattle the one time. Okay? But then again, it can happen to you in Game 7 when Doc Rivers is your coach. Yeah, I said it.
Right. Yeah, With the thing with Randall, he had a meltdown in Sacramento. Good, get it out your system. So what? Is one game in 82? No NBA team is going to go 82-0, right? And then two, the Knicks lost three in a row, right? So what? Before that, they had won eight or nine in a row.
Right.
It's like we can't please Knicks fans. The thing is this team is the best that it's been in years. And instead of like us looking at this team in its totality, we like a few of us choose to pick out like certain things that happened this season and have them be touchstones.
You see, Freezy, you can't invite me out. Okay, can't invite me to the party and tell me I should be happy just to be there. I'm not that kind of fella. See what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
You can't just invite me to the party and tell me I should be happy to be there.
Right.
I'm not that kind of fella.
Right.
You can't tell me because the Knicks are better than what they were last year.
Right.
We should just be happy and we shouldn't forecast and things of that nature. That it don't work like that. See what I'm saying? It just don't. Because I may be on the perimeters of my fandom with them because I refuse to give them my all anymore. Okay?
Right.
That's my personal right. Okay?
Right.
Doesn't mean that I've lost my senses. Doesn't mean that I can't see,
What's your okay, all right.
What's in front of me, I'm like,
what's your alternative? What's the alternative? What's the alternative? This is what I'm getting. What is the alternative?
Thank you for stopping me a while ago, Lord. Because you know what I want. You know what the alternative for me is. I would trade that MFer the moment I had a chance for a solid piece that I think that could move the team. But that's not neither here nor there because we're not there now. We're talking about right now in the playoffs. Right here and now. So what's the alternative? Right. We have none.
Right.
We got to pray and keep working with Julius that he makes better decisions in these moments.
Right. Or because you do have alternatives, or other members of the team can step up when Randle is not playing well. Do you have that guy on this team? Do you have a Scottie Pippen that can step up when Michael Jordan is shooting 8 for 22? No. Do you have a big game James Worthy that can step up when Tragic Johnson is turning the ball over?
You mean outside of Brunson?
Yeah, I'm talking about yesterday's game.
Okay.
I'm talking about yesterday because we're not talking about the season in total. Because overall, because if we're talking about, because I assumed that you thought that Randall during this season was okay.
Freezy, I'm not talking to Freezy. Moments matter, Freezy.
So that's what I'm saying. You're being specific, right?
Yeah, I'm being.
That's why I'm being specific.
I'm being specific to what I think can be, what I know is a lingering problem as far as what they don't do well. And in those moments, it's going to hurt them again in the playoffs. You see?
And I'm asking you, AD. When Steph Curry is having a bad shooting night, do the Golden State Warriors have another guy to step up and take over for Steph Curry? Yes. When Julius Randle has a bad night, right? And the bad night was yesterday. Did Julius Randle have a guy that can step up and take the pressure off him? No.
So
not only did he have a bad game, he had to take all the pressure too.
Yeah, but Freezy, here's the thing.
I watched Larry Bird scored 20 points in the first half one game and was ice cold in the third quarter. And I watched Kevin McHale carry the Celtics home.
Give me 5 seconds, Freezy. I'm listening.
Okay. What I'm saying is I don't want to blame the team for Randle being a bad player, right? I don't want to blame the team for Randle being a bad player, right? Because yesterday Randle was a bad player. What I'm saying though is we win as a team and we lose as a team, bro. That's supposed to be the mantra. When we win together. When we lose together. Right? It can't be when we win, it's because Brunson and IQ had big games and Randle did his thing. And then when we lose, it's all Randle's fault. To me, that sounds uneven, bro. It sounds like unreasonable Knicks fans. you got to be. It's got to like I hear all these songs like "We Are Family," "We Are Family." Nah, you know what I'm saying? When we win, we're supposed to win together, and when we lose, we're supposed to lose together. But it's like every time we lose, we blame Randle. But never mind that RJ Barrett didn't step up yesterday. In a game that had two elite wing players, we as a franchise depended on our power forward. Our wing players were
Freezy. We were in the game, Freezy. Here's the part that you're missing. And it's not just yesterday's game and the Sacramento game. And by the way, Sacramento is a very good team.
Yeah, they're a
very good team. And we were in the game. We should have won the Sacramento game.
We came back. We were down 20. Came back and tied it.
Right.
But we ran out of gas.
Ran out of steam. However, right. So I'm not killing them for the losses, Freezy. Right. All I'm doing is I'm citing where I see in the future where this is going to be a problem.
It's a problem.
Where his decision-making, Freezy, and this I'm just specifically talking about his decision-making and him being able to hold on to his cool. Because now, more teams, when you get to the playoffs are more of a physical game.
Yes.
Right? So players that's going to be the word.
Yep.
Play him physical.
Right.
If he doesn't get the calls, he's going to react negatively. Okay? That's all I'm saying, Freezy. I'm not saying that he's having a bad age, this, that. And I'm like, no. I'm the same problem with his handle and his decision making has been here since day one. It hasn't gone anywhere.
Right.
He's just not knocking people over now. That's it. I'm just saying, he has to make better decisions in some of these key areas where, like, why you can't tell me that the assistant coaches during the game, after the game, during film session, I'm not pointing this out to him like, dude, what are you doing here?
Okay. All right.
That's all I'm saying.
What about Josh Hart?
What you want to say about Josh Hart? What do you want to say about Josh Hart?
Nothing. I asked the question.
He is a godsend. Management did. They get an A for making that trade and getting that young man here. Okay. Because if there's one thing that I've seen from that man who may be exactly 6'5", Freezy. Okay. He made you and him are eye to eye. Right. That man is he's in the paint on every play.
Right.
To see that man come up with the loose ball or the rebound, to see him not come up with it, I'm surprised.
Right.
I was making this comparison the other night. I'm like, every time I've seen this man since he's played here, he always finds himself in the paint.
In the middle of something.
In the middle of something.
Right.
I'm looking at Obi and I'm like, yo, dude, why are you on the wing over there? How come you can't find your way in there?
Right.
You're 4 inches taller than him.
And
you're more athletic and gifted than him.
And can jump out the gym and probably physically stronger. But
did you hear what Sacramento's coach how he chastised his team after the Knicks game?
Yeah,
Josh Hart was killing y'all out here tonight.
Right.
When they showed how many rebounds he had last night, at one point, I was like, is that all?
Right.
He looked like he had like 15 rebounds already, at least.
Yep.
So, and I didn't even look this up. Is he a free agent after this season?
I think he's got a player option.
Oh, God.
I think he's got a player option. So, Paris Sucker, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Sucker says, AD, nobody can grow up right in chaos, so forget it.
What's the chaos?
That right there, what we were saying about that mess with Randle melting down, not getting calls, all these different things.
What did you think when you was watching him specifically last night, Freezy?
I was thinking he is terrible. You asking me about Randle, right?
Yep.
And I'm talking about during last night's game, not for the season. Let me be clear.
Right.
Last night's game, I was like, yeah, Randle was terrible. Right. I was looking for Tibbs to do something. Because the matchup wasn't a Randle type matchup. They had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Right?
Right.
The Knicks. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish we could have went smaller sooner.
If he's hitting those shots, he's not behaving like that, and that's part of my point.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? If he's hitting some of these shots that he was taking last night,
so he's disappointed in himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it carried on.
Right.
He wasn't getting the calls. Is that strange on someone's home court?
Right.
That's not strange. He's seen that before. See what I'm saying? It's how everything is not rolling in his favor, and that manifested the behavior. I didn't mean to rhyme.
Oh yeah, no, that was good. What I'm getting at is was Randle bad yesterday? Yes. Let's make that clear. Like, yes, Randle was bad yesterday. Right? Was Randle bad against Sacramento at times?
At times.
At times he was getting beat off the dribble by small forwards, and Tibbs didn't adjust.
Tibbs didn't adjust because Josh Hart was getting killed off the dribble.
Yes.
When they put him on Fox, even in that game, in that most play, I'm like, you can't have him out there getting caught in the switch on him, because I love him, hardworking player. That wasn't a good matchup for him.
When I saw it, I knew he had sat Grimes too long.
Yes.
Right? And he had quickly guarding Herter. Right? Red Velvet. So I'm like, why is Quickly out here guarding a dude that wants to get open for a shot, and Hart guarding a dude that wants to take you off the dribble?
Exactly.
The other side of the floor, they swing it to the other side of the floor. Harrison Barnes is going by Julius Randle as if he's standing still.
They quietly built a very good team. That's like, I think that might have been the second time I've seen them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm like, where the hell? Hold on, Patrick Decker, thank you for the super chat. Bingo AD. JR is a bad actor when he's playing bad.
Yeah, terrible. And I'm not knocking Randle as the person. I'm saying when he starts playing bad and is not getting caught, and the thing is with a superstar, you expect your superstar to play to their level 90% of the games that they play, right? Even superstars are going to have bad games. You just don't see them all. A star, you expect them to play good in about 80% of their games. Excuse me, right? A good player is going to show up about 70% of the time, something like that, right? Randle is somewhere between good play and star, right? So when he has a bad game, I send text messages to AD like, bro, it's just one game. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he's not Jordan, right?
But you're not seeing what I'm seeing. See, you're not seeing what I'm
this
seeing.
Right here, that Randle is bad and it snowballs when his game is not there and he loses it mentally.
Yeah, but not just not that per se, because that's not like he does that one every 5 games. No, right. That would be unfair. Right. Maybe he does this 4 times for the season.
Maybe,
right? So that would be unfair.
This is the second time that I saw it this year.
Right. So I'm not saying that.
Not saying that it happened more, because it probably did, but it's just the second time that I saw it.
But he was able to dial it back and catch himself. Yeah. I'm talking about specifically his play in the half court. His play in the half court in certain sessions when the teams run a zone. When teams come with that hard trap of him, when he's dribbling right, it's like he thought for majority of the season, no one came up on his blind side. For the majority of the season, nobody came up on his blind side. And all of a sudden, over these last several games, without Brunson, mind you, right? Because you can take that chance because that killer is not out there. Right? Without him. So what I'm saying is some of these deficiencies that we saw in old Randle and with this team right here, it could hurt them, especially when I don't believe he's a part of that centerpiece to take you to the next step. That's what my overall point was always going to be.
AD, you know what I said? I had been saying since December. I was saying since December that the Knicks needed to trade for Mike Conley, right? And so, okay. Well, I'll leave it right there then.
But why are you trading for Mike Conley? I remember this. I remember you saying this, and I remember asking you at that time. Why are you trading
and cats like Josh Richardson, right? Mm-hmm. Because hold on for a second.
Is your dog howling? Yo, Freezy's dog is howling at the moon. So let me hold it down here for a second. Here's the thing where Freezy gets lost, and I don't want to beat this Julius Randle thing in a bit, but while Freezy's not here, why not? Oh, he's back. Okay. But to what you were saying before we were disturbed by the howling of the sun.
Benny in here talking about Randle. Benny in here talking about Randle. Man, if you...
I promise you, he was going to take that mic up, bro.
Right, man. Benny in here howling for Randle.
Howling for Randle.
Oh, howling my God.
For but the thing is, to cement it is Brunson is clearly the cog. He's clearly the straw that stirs the drink. So for any of you who weren't appreciative of his play and who he is, and the new power MSG, as I said before on these airwaves, that is the Brunsons, you're seeing it live.
Right. But Randle is the drink.
No.
Yes.
Randle is he's the umbrella in the drink.
Okay. So it all comes together.
He's
Right.
the umbrella in the drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm
He
saying
makes
to
the drink
you,
looks good.
what I'm saying to you about Mike Conley though, is this: dudes that are the primary ball handler of a team, if they don't get help on a nightly basis, don't stay healthy. Period. They don't stay healthy. Right? And so the Sacramento game, the Clippers game, is a byproduct of not having that veteran guy to step in and just hold it down until your guy comes back. Right? Is you have to have a co-pilot, well, not even a co-pilot. Mike Conley would have been more like a substitute teacher. You have to have a substitute teacher when you have a primary ball handler, like, and I'm just gonna get into some probably get too deep into basketball stuff. I know how y'all don't like
What?
really like basketball
While we're talking
stuff.
basketball. Freezy froze.
The thing is Jalen Brunson on a nightly basis is in the backcourt with a developing young player. And so that young player is getting on the job training. So sometimes he contributes a lot and sometimes he contributes a little. But that's all a part about the learning process, right? I'm not blaming him for being young. I actually am glad we were empowering him so that in a year or two, he'll actually be the guy. But today, he's getting on the job training, right? Now, when you have Brunson in a backcourt, basically mentoring and helping a young backcourt player develop, that means in all crucial situations, the ball is not going to go to that young player. It's going to go to Jalen Brunson, right? And that means Jalen Brunson is going to have more wear and tear and nagging injuries than he would say if he was in a backcourt with Bradley Beal, where it could be Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars double-pronged attack, so to speak, right? And what happens is when you have that type of situation, when Brunson gets hurt and the other dude is getting on the job training, the Knicks brought in another young guard that was getting on the job training in Emmanuel Quickley. Now, Emmanuel Quickley is a third-year guard, and he is advanced. But I'm here to tell you, our second-year guard will be better than that in his third year. I think Grimes in his third year will be better than Quickley in his third year. But this is still Grimes's second season. Behind them, who do we have? A second-year point guard who's also developing. So when Brunson is out, the guard rotation is basically Quickley, Grimes, and McBride. So when these crucial situations come, they as soon as you come down and they try to run a set, the opposing team is like, as soon as Randle touch it, crash on them, right? And once they crash and trap Randle, it looks like Randle is helter-skelter when these young guards are still learning as they go. But when you watch the game, you're like, well, why did Randle turn his back there, right? Why did Randle look for the opposite side of the floor where the double team is not coming from? Why did Randle turn his back to the double team? Because clearly, if three dudes are over here, that means three dudes are not over there. And we like, well, Randle shouldn't have did that. He should have just faced the double team. Well, if we had a Mike Conley or if Tibbs would have played Derrick Rose, if Tibbs would play Derrick Rose, then we wouldn't have these same type of. We just want to blame Randle because he caught it and got double teamed. And listen, I appreciate you. I thank you for letting me. I thank you for letting me get that
out. Oh my God! You know what? Old time Jamaican people would say that. Would say to that. They would say that is a cock and bull story.
I know, but we like to call it basketball.
Crazy. I can't believe.
And no respect to Jamaica. I love Jamaica. I love my Jamaicans.
I know you love that curry goat and that beef patty. That beef patty with cheese.
Yeah.
Yo, Freezy. I can't believe you did. Why would you do that, Freezy? Stop.
Why would I talk basketball?
Stop it, Freezy. Okay.
Okay. If I don't know basketball, explain it to me.
I'm not saying that.
Explain it to me. If I don't know basketball, explain it.
I would never. Here's what I'm going to tell you wrong. Okay. Let's go back to the Mike Conley. Okay.
No, not Mike Conley, not the person. I'm talking about on the court. Why Randle turned his back?
No, hold on. Let's go back to your why you wanted the veteran, another guard, right?
Right. Or play Derrick Rose.
Or play $2 wine Derrick Rose.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Conley is like Rose. This is the last time Conley played a full whatever. Not that you need him for that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
The manifestation that you're seeing from Emmanuel Quickley is because Tibbs has trusted him in this role during this time. As I told you then, giving Derrick Rose any minutes would have taken away from McBride, Quickley, and so forth. Right?
From McBride?
Of course. Because hold on a second, right? Remember back to the Dallas game when Luka is dropping 60 and the Knicks are playing 8 guys.
Right.
And Rose and Fournier are sitting right there.
Right.
And the coach decides not to play neither of them. You know why? They wouldn't have helped. He knows what they are. He knows what a Rose is. I don't know what Conley is day to day because I'm not watching him. Right?
AD, I said Conley.
No, hold on. I sat and I listened to that cock and bull nonsense.
I brought up Mike Conley's name as a veteran point guard off the bench. Not just Mike Conley, but a guy in that role.
Okay, so let me ask you now. Okay, we just used Conley's name. So give me how much minutes? Not even the minutes thing here. You're using this Brunson situation here because Brunson is hurt, right? They're saying, well, this is why we needed him. You didn't say that when Quickley dropped 38 against Boston. You didn't need him then. You wouldn't have needed him against. You wouldn't have needed a Conley. You wouldn't have needed a Conley against Sacramento when they came all the way back and should have won that game. Okay?
AD again. I have been saying it since December, bro. This is
and
before those games occurred.
Back in December, like you're wrong now. That's you are alleviating responsibility from the superstar player, and this is what I can't even believe what I'm hearing, bro. This is what you do with Randle.
I can't even believe what I'm listening to.
You're watching, listening, and everyone is saying, "What is he doing? Why is he turning? Why is he?" It's happening over and over again. You're gonna tell me because there's 3 guys on the other side of him and they're behind him.
Yeah, that's basketball. That's how basketball is played, 5-on-5. That's how it's played, 5-on-5.
And you're not supposed to have any court awareness. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling Knicks fans? You're not supposed to have any court awareness.
Okay, so what you're telling me is instead of Randle looking for an outlet to pass that ball, he should just keep it and face the double team and just stand there.
Not just that.
That's
Freezy.
what you said.
Hold on. Not just that, Freezy. Hear me for 10 seconds. Okay? Randle, for the most part of his game, he wants to be on the perimeter. Okay? When the 3-point shot is not rolling for him, and he decides that he is going to either face up and try and dribble drive, he dribbles with his right hand, Freezy.
I feel like goalposts are moving.
To get back to his left. When he dribbles with his right hand, he literally can't see because he goes from 6'9" to 6'5". This is it. You can't see nothing back there. You can't come into a basketball. If you can't see nothing back here, you're going this way to eventually to try and come back to your strong hand. What are you telling me?
I'm telling you that
you're telling me that I'm not watching him do that?
Yes, I'm telling you.
You're going to blame the teammates for that?
I'm saying you absolutely are not seeing that. See, because for one, your example, you're saying that a NBA player is going to have his back to the basket on the perimeter. Why would an NBA player be backing down from the perimeter?
Freezy, why would an NBA player stand under the rim with nothing between him but a 6'1" guard and decide to pass the ball back outside? You're asking me a question. I don't know what's in this. I don't know what's in the psychosis of a madman.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. Miguel P., thank you for the generous contribution. He says JB has become Randle's emotional support human. Basically, I agree with you. And shout out to Ernesto and Andy D in the chat and Paris Duggan and some RC Creative, some guy that I had seen. I hadn't shouted y'all out. Shout out to y'all. Right? What I'm saying to you, bro, is the Randle thing gets more far-fetched the more Knicks fans talk about it. The more Knicks fans talk about the Randle getting double team thing, the more of fans of other teams hear it and they just laugh at us. They like, I thought y'all knew basketball, right? Why wouldn't Randle look for another player to pass to out of a double team? Because if he took that shot out of the double team, we'd still be having the same conversation. Randle shoot out of a double team, bro. Here's the thing.
What is it? I don't question.
I say, and man, Knicks fans should be fans how they want to be, because all of us come from different places and have different experiences. Like me and AD probably are closer in experiences and stuff than others, right? So when we disagree, it's probably
you are
like
not
on
my
a
brother
topic.
from another right now, because you're a Randle apologist.
No, I'm a basketball apologist. I'm a basketball apologist.
Okay.
I'm a basketball apologist. I'm a hoop apologist. Okay. Right? What I'm saying is, give you an example. Does that double team come to Randle if Reggie Miller is on the floor? Does Reggie Miller's man leave him and go double team Randle? Freezy. Hell no.
Freezy.
Or if Reggie Miller is over in the other corner, do they bring a man from this strong side to double team Randle, knowing that the defensive rotation might not get back to Reggie Miller in the corner? No. Right? The reason why they did it is because the reason why they trapped Randle is because they know the other players on the floor at the moment are weak. Period. That's the reason why they trapped Randle.
Can I ask you a question, Freezy? Let me ask you this question. Nothing to do about any of these last couple of games, but in particular to Randle, right? Randle's a left-handed ball player, correct? Okay. How many times have you seen Randle on his strong side, which is his left-hand side, right, forego a short shot or even a jump hook, right? I get it. It's not sexy. It's not what today's ball players do, right? But if that's what the shot is calling for, or the defense is playing you to go to your strong side, why are you not doing this?
You mean yesterday or in general?
In general.
In general, Julius Randle is a 2-time All-Star. In general, Julius Randle is a 1-time All-NBA player. In general,
I wouldn't have voted him for All-NBA, but okay.
Right, but our votes don't count. And
in the words of Uncle
as a
Freezy,
left-handed player, we saw Julius Randle drive the lane right-handed and dunk on Jason Tatum.
Oh God, jeez.
Right-handed.
You know, Freezy, we're gonna come back to this. You know what? We're not gonna come back to this. You know why? Because my hopes is for prosperity for the team. In order for them to be prosperous, Julius Randle has to play well. Okay? So my hope is not to return to Atlanta and to seeing the same things because
Me too.
He has way more talent.
I'm going to Atlanta, but I don't want to see that same mess. Right?
He's got way more talent, right? So I'm gonna leave it there with Randall. But before we roll, I'm gonna
best number 30 ever.
Okay.
Now that is what you call a troll because y'all know how I love Bernard King. Y'all know how I love Bernard King, man.
Bernard King. You compare Julius Randle to Bernard King any chance you get? You compare Julius Randle to Bernard King any chance you get. Okay. And that's a travesty.
All right. So for the record, I never disliked Bernard King as a Golden State Warrior or Utah Jazz. Right? I only had a feeling I felt some type of way about how we acquired Bernard King. Right? And I know sometimes not AD because me and you and I have talked about Bernard King, his greatness, about how sometimes like you remember when I said in the early 80s he was the second best player in the NBA. From about 81 to 84, I felt like Bernard King was the second best player in the NBA behind Larry Bird. Right? The way I view Bernard King is not that I don't like Bernard King. I felt like 30. If you're gonna retire numbers, if you really gonna give people their flowers, you should have retired 30, and you should have retired a couple of those people from the 90s already. Because some of those retired numbers some of them numbers up in the Raptors right now.
Stop it. Don't do it. Do not. I see where you're going. It's going to end up.
Who's a better player? Who's a better player, Bill Bradley or Bernard King?
See, I knew it. I knew you were going there. You were going to take shot of Bill Bradley yet again. The poor man's 85 years old, can barely say his name, and you're about to take shot at Bill Bradley yet again.
Now, I don't want to take shot at him. I want to take his number down.
The man is a part of 2 championships, Freezy.
Mm-hmm.
The man's in the Hall of Fame, whether you agree with it or not.
Is Phil Jackson number up there? Let me see. Did they retire Phil?
No, they did not.
Okay, because Phil Jackson was part of 2 championships too.
Phil Jackson was, as my
Windmill
Phil. He was just Windmill Phil, just a guy laying arms, could play some defense, and that was it. He wasn't retiring.
Phil Jackson was crazy, bro.
He wasn't retiring his number. You gotta stop this. You take shots at Bill Bradley too often.
No,
he's your own.
It's because I like Bernard King more. Now, if you don't like Bernard King more, that's your likes and dislikes.
Do you know he retired a Knick?
Who?
You know Bill Bradley retired a Knick?
Yes.
Started a Knick, retired a Knick. There's something to be said about that. In an era where R.J. Barrett has the second contract since Charlie Ward,
who played here 10 years. Charlie Ward played here 10 years. Right.
Put some respect on that man's name.
No.
Put some respect to the champion. Still out here. Heart still pumping. Blood still flowing. With the 70, again, salute to the 73 team as we're in the 50th year yet again. Salute to Bill Bradley. You, sir, need some help. But before I forget, I wanted to touch on this past weekend being the anniversary of Ali Frazier 1 the fight of the century. And it's 52 years now?
Yeah, they call it that. I don't know if it's the fight of the century, but
that's the fight of all. That's the fight of all times. I wouldn't have called it the fight of the century. I would have called it the fight of all times.
Yeah. Okay.
Ali Frazier won. Both those great gladiators are no longer with us. But I always watch it, and I watched a little bit of it on this last. You're not an appreciator of the great sweet science which you took part of for so long,
right.
as being the defending Green Street locker room champ that you are. When I mentioned the greatness of the butterfly, there's a little twinge in your heart and your soul, and I don't think you really gave that fight, especially at that time. And I'm gonna get all serious now. It's the first time that two heavyweight champions met, undefeated.
Okay.
That's happened since, but not on the level of Muhammad Ali coming into that fight was the champion that held that belt that Jack Johnson, Jim Corbett.
You talking about lineal champs?
Lineal champs, John L. Sullivan. Everybody that was a champion. The last time someone held where the lineage breaks is Ali. Because the last time someone literally had held that championship was Ali. And when they stripped him of his title in 1967, to Frazier's credit, when he finally won the championship, because Frazier wins, I think in 1968, 1969, he wins a box off of, at that time, New York State had a heavyweight championship.
Was that 70? I swear.
Nah, that's 68, 69. He knocks out Jimmy Ellis.
Well, who was a good boxer too, by the way.
Before he knocks out Ellis, he wins the New York State heavyweight championship.
He wins the Green Street Grocery Championship.
Yep. Yeah. Basically. Then he, Jimmy Ellis, who was Ali's stablemate, Joe Frazier knocked him out, with that famous left hook that he had.
Right.
And so they finally met up and, had their, which at that time, I speak about it as if I lived it. Right? And it's because my pops and their friends, it's like they could never get over it.
Right.
Right? Because my birthday is like several months after the fight. Okay. So literally from the crib till whatever, till now, they've been talking about that fight forever.
Yep.
And they were heartbroken because in their minds, they think Ali won the fight. But even if he won, my pops used to say, even if he won, they wouldn't have gave it to him because the money wasn't on him that night.
Right.
But to Frazier's credit, if you look at Joe Frazier's face before the fight, and you look at Joe Frazier's face after the fight, the man's face looked like a wrecking ball was hitting it.
We like to call it pizza for short. We call it pizza face.
The
man, I'm telling you, AD, I got to get you inside this boxing world, bro. There are some terms and some things in boxing world, bro.
Cut me, Nick. Cut me.
Yeah, it's false. Hollywood.
Cut me, Nick. Cut me.
And for those that don't know, if that man had cut that dude 3 inches above his eye, what happens is every fight has a ring doctor, right? You have somebody there that if you have structural damage to your face, to your eye, whatever, that looks like it could be long-term or affect you long-term, they stop the fight.
I'm here for you. 5 seconds.
Right. No doubt. Yo, so if he would have cut that man, if that man would have pulled out a blade to get that swelling from over that man's eye, which is blood, by the way, and had blood gushing out over that man's face. Right now, I know what they did. Now I know back in the day, they used to do a lot of stuff in the ring, a lot of stuff that they used to get. I ain't even going to talk about dudes named Panama or Angelo and all these dudes that used to do weird stuff, right? But that is so far from that is so fantasy, right? If because think about this, if your eye is so swollen that you can't see, the ring doctor is gonna come to you and go, hey, how many fingers do I have? Tell me if y'all ever heard this thing before. How many fingers do I have up? And they hold them off like to your here. Trust me. They like hold them off here so you can see like and you can't see it, bro. He like,
well, in situations like that, I've heard of, where you have a cornerman that is so cagey and has seen everything. So I'm asking how many fingers you have up, and the guy's behind you tapping you 3 times.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3.
Right.
Right?
Right.
How many fingers you have up now? 1, 2. Right? Because the doctor's not looking at the cornerman, he's looking at you.
Right.
Right? So of course Hollywood always takes
they Hollywood stuff up.
Their license and so forth, but that's a great movie.
But that's how you sell. But that's how you sell movies, though. That's how you get people to go.
That's how you sell movies. And from that Rocky movie, remember, Sylvester Stallone, he's in the audience when Ali fights Chuck Webner.
Yep.
The Bayonne Bleeder.
The Bayonne Bleeder. Yep.
And he takes that story right there, and it's like, I got something.
Yep. I wish somebody would have adapted Jersey Joe Walcott. You know what I'm saying?
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Yeah, his story is no Sugar Ray. I don't want to see a Sugar Ray Robinson story. I don't even want to see a Sugar Ray Leonard story. Right? I don't want to see a Mike Tyson movie. I don't want to see none of that.
We've seen several of those already, but you know what? Walcott's story would be interesting. Ray Robinson's story would be interesting. Because Ray Robinson is like, we've talked about the entourage.
Yeah.
Ray Robinson had an entourage times 2.
Right.
He's the first, dude that's rolling around with personal secretary and someone to groom his nails and
Yeah, and you know what? You have to have all that stuff, bro, because
a fighter needs all of that.
Yes, everything. You got to have.
Fighter needs
a chef.
Yeah.
Somebody for logistics.
Yeah.
You need, not only do you need somebody to do logistics for you, but for your entourage.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't stay at the Marriott and then have your people staying across town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have all the, somebody got to coordinate breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
A fighter needs, everybody. As everybody's not getting paid the same, in the entourage, but a fighter's, let's use a medical term, homeostasis, which is the balance, the body balance.
Right.
It's tenuous.
Right.
Right. It can go off.
Right.
Some old fighters,
and you don't want it to be that way.
You want it to build.
Right.
You want it to wait when fight night comes.
Right.
Like it's the crescendo.
Right.
Your job is to get him to that point that when you look you gotta be at your peak. You gotta be at your peak when the bell rings. Yes.
Right. And then after that, after the fight, you slowly come back down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then you need about 10 to 15 days to recover.
Yeah.
Right.
Depending on the damage.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To Frazier Ali, Frazier's in the hospital for like a month.
Right, and you know what? And I was going to tell you this about Ali. The reason why I'm not as, I think Ali is probably the greatest, but I think he should have been light years ahead of everybody. But he did dumb things during his career, like in that Ali Frazier fight. There is a left hook that Ali took. That Ali saw him and waved him on, and then he took the left hook. Why?
He took. I know what you're talking about. He's in the corner.
Come on, Joe.
He's in the corner.
That's all you got, Joe.
And Joe says it to. And Joe says, he says like they're talking, because if you the referee for one is Arthur McCanty Sr. from out of Long Island.
Yep.
Arthur McCanty attests to this, that they're talking, and he stopped him at one point. He was like, "Yo, cut it out." You can see this in the fight. Right. He's motioning like, "Yo, shut up, cut it out." Joe says, Ali says to him, "Don't you know I'm a god?" Right. Joe says, "Yo," he rolled back and he said, "God, you gonna get your ass whipped tonight."
Right. AD, I'm telling you, bro.
So he's busy talking.
He busy taking punches. The only fight that I saw Ali take punches, and I don't think he saw them coming as much. His reactions were slow. Was the Ken Norton fight? The first Ken Norton fight, where Ali took some punches. You like, how you take that? But his reaction is not. That's all you got. His reaction is like, you know what I'm saying?
He's not in great shape for either one of those fights, and not to make excuse for him, right? For Ali, because, like I said, even though he loses that fight, he gets hit with one of the greatest left hooks in the history of the fight game.
You talking about Joe Frazier?
Yeah.
Even
in real time, it's even prettier in slow motion.
Right.
When Ali's kind of drifting back, and he doesn't have the one thing that he doesn't have when he comes back to the fight game. He doesn't have the legs anymore. Bump the accuracy. Right. And I'm gonna go to a point about the accuracy. He doesn't have the legs to move away as easily as he did before, to glide back. Right. So when you see and this happens in the 15th round, and it happens several times, because by the 15th round, the right side of his jaw is swollen. Yep. Right? When you see Joe faint, left, comes back with it again, and it's an absolute blockbuster. Right. Ali's up at the count of 2.5.
Right. And that is also a mistake.
Well, here's the thing though, Freezy. Something like that, and only you can tell me that because you was in the ring, right? He gets up off straight. It's spontaneity.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because bump that he gets up after that fight, that shot should have ended the night.
Yes. Most fighters, it would have.
It should have ended the night. And he's up, and by the end of the fight, he's trading.
Right. And he still lost. Right. And so in Ali's mind, right, when he get hit, as soon as his body hit the canvas, he like, I just lost this fight. That's what he's thinking.
Probably.
I just lost this fight. I got to get these points back.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Because before that.
But the thing about I
thought he won it, by the way. Just by the way, I thought he won the fight. By the way.
Oh, I don't know, man. I go back and forth. I
go back and forth.
Right, and so because there are some shots that Frazier hit Ali with that because Ali had some rounds when he just pointed him up, but then there are some rounds where they were about even, and then you go by, well, how many power punches were landed, and then you go by Joe. But the thing about Ali, AD, and I've been wanting to say this, the thing about Frazier, unlike Patterson and Tyson, when Frazier wants to when Frazier throws, basically Frazier wanted to get into this mode where he calls smoking, right? You remember this thing he saw, you know what I'm saying? He wanted, because he looking for the left hook, right? That's why they call him Smoking Joe. That's what he called it. That's his style,
right?
You know, it's smoking, right? The thing about that is he used to give it away with one foot behind the other, but he would drop his rump to lunge, And if you've seen him on tape already, right, you know when he dropped that rump, you know he's not coming out with a jab. Right? Ali sees him drop his rump to get into that lunge and still took the punch anyway. And now, mind you, Ali in his prime had 1,000 times better reflexes than me. 1,000,000 times. Right? Right? I don't even want to talk about myself and Ali in boxing at the same time, as a matter of fact. Ali was that good.
Green Street champ.
Right? But what I'm saying is when you see that man, and AD, when you start back watching the fights, Frazier telegraphs these punches, and I counted like 2 or 3 of them where Ali took them anyway. And I'm like, for what?
He didn't have the legs.
Nah, AD.
And not only that, hold on a second. Not only that, in a fight like that, which goes 15 rounds,
right?
Okay, Ali's for that fight 6'3", 215, 220 somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
Probably 210, 215 somewhere there.
Right.
Frazier's like.
He's probably about 225 for the fight, because if he weighed in at 214 when he hydrated,
right,
he probably got back up to about 220, 222, 223, something like that.
And he's 5'10", maybe 5'10".
Right.
Yancey Durham, who's his trainer, part of his strategy was hit anything.
Right.
He's hitting Ali on the hip bone.
Right.
Right? Which is like right under the protective gear right there. Right? Ali's legs he's not even hitting Ali there. He's hitting Ali in the hip bone, he's hitting Ali in the ass, he's hitting Ali on the thighs.
Right.
He's hitting Ali everything close to the lower extremities.
Right.
It slows him up. For a person whose speed is not there, his legs was not there in shape.
But AD, I understand where you're going. But what I'm saying is, you don't need.
Oh, yes, you do.
For that. No,
yes, you do.
So you okay?
Oh, all right. Yes, you do. And
so you need legs to okay. All right.
Oh, here's why, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong because you've been in the ring, right? Old-time teachers that I've heard will tell you, you don't go straight back from a punch.
No.
You go side to side. Right. Muhammad Ali, in his best, straight back.
Yeah. See, he trained, but
straight back with legs.
There are two retreats that you're talking about. So the retreat you're talking about is his feint, where he moved this way, but he's doing that so that he can come around and counter with his punch. That's the reason why he didn't move his feet. Now, if you're talking about moving your feet straight back, you don't want to do that when somebody's throwing a power punch.
And Frazier hasn't caught. Frazier cuts the ring. If you see how that fight starts, Ali does not come out dancing. Ali comes out to knock him out.
Yeah, he can't come out to fight. Right.
He came out to fight. Right. Don Dunphy, who's on the call, is like, well, this is a Muhammad Ali we've never seen before. He came toe to toe.
He came to toe to toe, right? But AD, what I'm saying about the left hook though is remember who we're talking about. Ali, in terms of footwork goes, is the greatest boxer to ever do it, right? So when that left hook is coming, when you see that man squat, right, you don't shuffle backwards or lean backwards, right? You see when that man commits to the punch, you reverse pivot. And what that does is once he misses with his left hook, his arm is coming across you this way, and you are still here to throw your straight right hand off the counter. Ali did it in the first couple rounds and was tagging Frazier with it. And at about round 8, this dude stopped doing that. Right. And when he stopped, because I didn't believe the fight was going to go to, when you watch it, I don't think the fight going to go to distance. I'm thinking like one of these dudes is getting ready to get out of here. Right. Ali buzzes the tower like three or four times with a counter. When you go back and watch it, Left uppercut comes. Ali pivots out using footwork, right? On one foot, spins the back foot. 1 foot planted, front foot planted, spins the back foot, and he's squared up with Frazier looking this way after throwing a punch. So his arm is across Ali this way. All Ali does is just go across the top of his arm and just boop. And Frazier is like back up, like, oh snap. Because nobody was skilled, nobody was fast enough or have the footwork enough to do it. Everybody knew that it could be done, but nobody had the footwork and the speed to do it. Until
you're gonna get that in a fight, Freezy. And here's another thing about that fight. His efficiency is really down.
Yeah. Yep.
Because somewhere around round 4 or 5, Frazier gets his rhythm.
Right.
And he's slipping his jab very easily.
Right.
So his jab and his punches are not as free flowing.
Right.
They're not as, I can make a mistake. I can.
You know why, right?
Well, like I said, Frazier caught his timing, and he, as you can see it, at one point, Ali lays on the ring, on the ropes. Frazier, instead of hitting him, grabbed him by both arms and pulled him off the ropes.
Right. I think the reason my guess for why all these things occurred goes back to one thing. Ali put on too much weight to come in and fight a puncher. If Ali had stayed the butterfly that stung like a bee, we would not be having this conversation.
He knew he wasn't in shape, but
right. He was a little bit bigger.
No, he knew he wasn't in shape, and remember, he doesn't get the Supreme Court decision until after the fight.
Right.
He's only able to fight Frazier on a tenuous suspension.
I remember that.
Because the first time he gets like a tenuous boxing license is in Atlanta against Jerry Quarry.
You remember Jerry Quarry?
Absolutely. Jerry Quarry was a top fighter. I think he passed away right in the early part of the pandemic. Jerry Quarry. Jerry Quarry was a top fighter.
My uncle used to talk to me.
Yeah, he's out because back then Atlanta is the capital of the whole black movement,
right?
And so forth, and they were able to get Ali a temporary license because they didn't fall in the jurisdictions of the boxing, whatever. So they get him a temporary license there, and then the next fight is against the Argentinian. So they were just rushing
the cheetah.
Yeah, they were just rushing Ali to get the fights in because they didn't know was he going to jail or not.
Yeah, I know.
See,
I know.
So think about that. You got number 1, he broke,
dead broke.
Number 2, he fighting the U.S. government.
Yep.
Right.
Part of the reason why he broke.
Yep. And they've kind of, at this point in time, they've kind of resigned themselves that we've exhausted everything because the case is at the Supreme Court. So you going to jail.
Right.
Right. And 3, he has to try and get as many fights in as possible because he has a growing family and families.
Yep. No, I get
so it's not about Frazier person. Frazier's really just
And Frazier was rich at the time, by the way.
He's rich, but here's the thing with that. Frazier he's like the perfect villain for a made-up situation. Because him and Ali had no beef.
Yeah, he broke Frazier. He broke Frazier Hart too. That was
He made when the first time when Frazier came and PBS has a Muhammad Ali documentary, and it's the first time he comes to Ali's gym, and Ali at the time Ali's the heavyweight champion in the world. It's like 65, 60, because Frazier the heavyweight champion in Tokyo in 64. right? Comes to Ali's gym like 64,
Olympics,
65,
the
something
Tokyo
like
Olympics.
Tokyo Olympics. And Ali kind of sized him up like, I'm watching you, boy. You be ready for me in like 2 years. And Frazier was like, nah, champ, maybe 3. It turned out it was 6.
Right. It was vice versa.
6.5. Right.
It was vice versa. Who calling who champ?
No, Frazier's calling Ali champ.
Then,
yeah.
But when they meet, who's the champion?
Frazier's champion, but Frazier always gave it up to him, saying that he wasn't. Frazier always said this: he wasn't the champion until he beaten the butterfly.
Right.
So in his heart somewhere, yeah, I got on this belt. Like we started out this part of the conversation, but this belt don't mean nothing.
Right, because he needed validation.
I need this validation,
and not just to himself, but to the people that know he was only holding the belt because Ali couldn't fight. But the people Ali during that same time, Ali was the people's champ. It didn't matter who the heavyweight champ was.
He always was.
He was the people's champ. But I gotta go on this. But
yes, we gotta leave it right there.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick, man. Muhammad Ali. The reason why Ali is not super high on my radar is for the same reason why Marvin Hagler always is higher on my radar than others. Is because in those moments, and like in those moments, Ali was a risk taker for no reason, and the end result didn't always pay off. Marvin Hagler took a risk, and even if the risk backfired, even if it like that right hand, remember when you said Frazier could have ended Ali night, that right hand that Tommy Hearns hit Marvin Hagler with should have ended the fight. I saw it stop Duran. The same right hand. I saw it stop Duran cold. He hit Hagler with it, and Hagler was like, "Oh, you really want to do this?"
Absolutely. But I'm gonna say this, Freezy. Muhammad Ali's ending record is 56-5.
Right.
56-5. It's not the greatest record I've ever heard of, right? But for heavyweights,
yeah, I think so.
Right, and 5 losses.
And to some of them dudes he lost to, you're like,
he doesn't get his first loss until he's 30.
Right. To the champ.
And it's a controversial loss at that.
Right. And some of those losses he took, the Spinks loss,
they're not worth talking about.
The Larry Holmes loss, he shouldn't even took that fight, but he had bills to pay.
The Trevor Berbick. 3 of those losses, you're talking about 3 of those losses are after age 36.
Right. But Sugar Ray Robinson had 20 losses? And I think
he got like 200 wins.
I know, but what I'm saying is about 17 to 18 of Sugar Ray Robinson losses, the dude was like 40 and like light heavyweight.
It's not in your prime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Roy Jones Jr.'s losses, the one to Antonio Tarver. Okay. Right.
Even the one, remember, people seem to forget this. He beat Tarver the first time they fought.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
The referees gave Jones that fight.
He beat Tarver the first time.
Officially he beat Tarver.
And whatever you wanted, you got a decision or 2 in your life. But here's the thing about the second fight.
Yo, that's so heartbreaking, bro.
I can't imagine. But here's the thing about the second fight.
AD, you ain't never done something good. Like, think about you do something good for as long as possible, right? As long as, and then they get up there and be like, yeah, I know what everybody in here saw, but the 3 of us saw something different.
That's
if you ain't seen like you remember how Mayweather got robbed at the Olympics?
Yeah,
bro, he cried, bro. I've been in that spot where, bro, I've been in that spot where you can't do nothing but tears just well up in your eyes, man. Like ain't nothing you can do, bro. You, like,
for the Olympics,
I knocked this man down.
It's a political game.
I know, and for that reason, when we talk about boxing, it's one of those things that people don't really take a liking to it because of that. Like I legit was in a fight where I got knocked down 5 times and I lost. And I was also in a fight where I knocked a dude down 5 times and I lost. Like I legit knocked a dude when I was younger. I knocked a dude down 5 times and I lost the fight. AD, I was like 20, 22 years old. This is like 1990 or something.
Okay.
Right? I knock a dude down 5 times and I point him up. And this dude was about to move from novice to amateur. We have 2 novices fighting. There's when you're not a professional, it's multiple classes that you move up. You start off as a newbie, then you're a novice, then you're an amateur, and then you kind of move up. Then you know what I'm saying? So this dude's a novice. I'm like 7-3. He like 14-0. I knock him down 5 times, but he wanted to move up, change, to put his amateur status on him. Because when you're a novice, they don't count your fights. When you're an amateur, they start counting your fights.
Okay.
Like you have people, man, he had 300 amateur fights. Well, he probably had 400 fights, but about 100 of them are novice, so they don't count them. Right. I knock a dude down 5 times, and he gets a decision. And then, like a year later, I get knocked down 5 times because I got a hole in my guard. The dude ain't better than me.
Right.
The dude ain't better than me. I just got a hole in my guard, and he found it and exploited it. You know what I'm saying? This is what it. But yeah, man. Anyway.
All right, we're gonna leave it right there. Always a pleasure, Uncle Freezy. Once again, Knicks fans and those who are not Knicks fans, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I don't know where this journey started, but I know where it ended. Uncle Freezy, look for us in the whirlwind.
All right, y'all. Peace, everybody.